I'm Savannah, and I work as a housekeeper at an upscale hotel in the city. My parents insisted that I get a part-time job after high school, convinced that it would teach me the value of hard work and responsibility. Given the choice between working at my dad's diner and cleaning up after hotel guests, I opted for the latter. At least with cleaning, I had the freedom to work independently without someone constantly bossing me around. Initially, everything went smoothly. I quickly grasped the cleaning routines and established my own schedule. However, over time, I found myself growing bored with the monotony of the job. To liven things up, I began to indulge in a bit of harmless curiosity. I started going through the belongings of the hotel guests. Now, before you judge me too harshly, keep in mind that I didn't know any of these people, so I considered my little investigations entirely harmless and just a way to pass the time. It all began innocently enough, flipping through items left on nightstands. But as you can imagine, those proved to be quite dull. So, my curiosity led me to the closets. Inside those hidden spaces, I discovered a treasure trove of fascinating secrets. Peculiar costumes, wigs, intriguing photographs, love letters, unusual footwear, and much more. One day, I had the privilege of cleaning the most lavish suite in our entire hotel, the sort that only the wealthiest guests could afford. Once my cleaning duties were complete, my adventurous side got the better of me. I couldn't resist the temptation to delve deeper into this luxurious world. So I opened the closet and, to my amazement, found a stunning gold Dior dress. It shimmered and sparkled, taking my breath away. I couldn't have even dreamt of wearing something so exquisite. Without a second thought, I decided to try it on. To my astonishment, the dress fit me perfectly, as though it had been crafted specifically for my body. I stood in front of the grand mirror, pretending to be an actress receiving her very first Oscar. I bowed gracefully and blew kisses to an imaginary crowd. It was a moment of pure fantasy. However, reality soon came crashing down when I heard the distinct click of the room's door handle turning. Panic surged within me. Oh my goodness, I thought, they've caught me red-handed. I'm going to be fired, or perhaps even worse, arrested for tampering with guests' belongings. In my haste to remove the dress, I realized that the zipper had become hopelessly stuck midway. With no other option in sight, I quickly slipped under the bed, my heart pounding in my chest. A man entered the room, and I watched as he paced around while engaging in a phone conversation. "I need a girl to accompany me as my date for one night," he said into the phone. "I have the dress, and I'm willing to pay her $3,000. Find me someone as soon as possible." Afterward, he retrieved a suitcase and exited the room. I waited in my hiding place, finally heaving a sigh of relief as the coast cleared. Emerging from beneath the bed, I hastily changed back into my uniform and made my way out of the room. That had been a close call, and I couldn't shake off the lingering thought of the man's proposition. $3,000 for a single night. That was equivalent to my entire monthly salary, and it dawned on me that he was undoubtedly referring to the very dress I had worn. An idea began to take shape in my mind, but I needed to figure out how to turn it into reality. I spent the next 2 nights discreetly observing the man, noting that he spent a significant amount of time in the hotel lobby. On the 3rd night, I decided to take the plunge. I carefully selected my best dress, applied some makeup, and boldly approached him. "Hey there, handsome," I began, offering a friendly smile. "Are you new around here?" I asked, gazing into his eyes. He returned my smile. "Yeah, what about you?" His name turned out to be Jason, and as we engaged in conversation, it didn't take long for him to broach an unusual topic. "Listen, I don't usually do this," he began, "but you seem really nice. I need a girl to accompany me to a party and pretend to be my girlfriend, just for one night. Are you interested?" I waited for him to mention the monetary aspect, but he remained silent. However, I wasn't about to let this opportunity slip through my fingers, so I quickly agreed. We arranged to meet at the hotel, and he took me directly to his room. Inside, a glam team awaited me. A hairstylist and makeup artist worked their magic, and a wardrobe assistant helped me don the stunning gold dress. I had to act as if I were seeing it for the first time, and within an hour, I transformed into something akin to a Hollywood actress. As we left for the party, I couldn't help but ask, "So, where are we headed?" Jason replied calmly, "To my ex's wedding." I was taken aback and exclaimed, "What? How is that even possible? Are you even invited? He assured me, yes, because she's marrying my best friend. I gasped, but decided not to delve deeper into the situation. It seemed like a complicated mess, and I preferred not to get entangled in it, so I ceased my questioning. Instead, I took some pictures of myself in the dress, eager to share the glamorous transformation on my Instagram account. After all, everyone needed to see me in that stunning attire. Upon arriving at the wedding venue, it was like stepping into a fairy tale. Roses adorned every corner, a live band played enchanting melodies, and the guests were impeccably dressed. I couldn't help but wonder if everyone here was wealthy except for me. Jason took my hand and led me toward the bride and groom to offer our congratulations. As we approached, I couldn't help but notice the increasing nervousness in his demeanor. Our arms were interlocked, but it felt more like he was squeezing my hand rather than simply holding it. When we finally stood before the bride and groom, I observed the anguish in Jason's eyes. It was clear that he still harbored feelings for her. "Congratulations," I offered, breaking the awkward silence. The bride managed a smile and a nod, but she didn't respond verbally. In an attempt to diffuse the tension, I added, "Congratulations. Jason told me that you two used to date. Thanks for letting him go. I couldn't have asked for a better man." Jason flashed a grateful smile, while the bride appeared irritated. We decided to leave her standing there and joined the dance floor, where laughter and merriment awaited us. "You guys are really good at this," Jason exclaimed, his laughter echoing in the festive atmosphere. "Did you see her face?" I asked Jason, a mischievous grin spreading across my lips. He chuckled and replied, "First rule of a breakup, show them you're better off without them, even if you're not." We shared a laugh as we continued to dance, savoring a delightful dinner. The night unfolded beautifully, and I found Jason to be an incredibly cool guy. Leaving the party, we strolled down the street and happened upon an ice cream truck. I couldn't resist its allure and yelled, "Stop the car." Jason looked startled but didn't protest. I hopped out and purchased 2 ice cream cones, proudly declaring, "This, my friend, is the best 2 ice creams you will ever have in your life." With our sweet treats in hand, I then guided him to a special spot where we could admire the city from above, illuminated by countless lights and filled with the soothing sounds of the night. By 3 o'clock in the morning, we returned to the hotel, tired but exhilarated by the memorable night we had shared. I headed to his room to change out of the dress and retrieve my own clothes, but Jason surprised me by insisting, "You can keep it. I haven't had this much fun in a long time, thanks to you." I tried to decline, but he remained adamant, and I left his room with the expensive dress in my possession. The next day, I resumed my duties at the hotel, feeling like I had experienced my very own Cinderella night that had come to an end. The reality of my job hit me once more. However, as I exited the elevator with my cleaning cart, I spotted Jason approaching. Panic washed over me, and I hastily pressed the button to close the elevator door. I didn't want him to discover that I was just a housekeeper. Embarrassment drove me to keep up the facade of the nice girl he had enjoyed spending time with, rather than appearing as a gold digger. To avoid any accidental encounters, I made a point of steering clear whenever I spotted him in the hotel. I'd often scurry to the other side of the hallway and enlist the help of Nora, a fellow coworker, to clean his suite. This way, I ensured that I didn't inadvertently run into him. Nevertheless, I couldn't help but find my thoughts frequently drifting back to him. I discreetly observe him from a distance as he sipped coffee in the lobby or had lunch at the hotel's restaurant. However, fate had other plans in store for us. About a week later, our hotel organized a conference for businessmen, and the hotel manager asked us to work as waitstaff for the evening, promising extra money. Reluctantly, I knew I had to do it. I needed the extra money and hoped for good tips. When I arrived at the event, I noticed that Jason was in the room, accompanied by a strikingly beautiful girl. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and wore an elegant white dress. Throughout the night, I made a conscious effort to avoid her, but the more I observed Jason flirting with her, the stronger my sense of jealousy grew. I couldn't help but wonder who she was. Although I had only met Jason a week ago, I felt as if she were taking my place, and I should have been the one wearing that dress and enjoying the evening. My jealousy intensified, and I began to develop a plan to spoil her night. While Jason was engrossed in conversation with some other men, I decided to approach the girl and offer her a drink. She declined, so I intentionally shook the tray I held, causing all the drinks to spill onto her dress, leaving it stained and ruined. A smug smile crossed my lips as I thought I had successfully executed my plan. However, before I could apologize for my actions, the girl responded in a disdainful tone, "What an idiot! Can't Can't you do your job properly? Do you have any idea how much that dress cost? Her loud outburst drew the attention of those around us, and I found myself in an uncomfortable situation. Desperate to make amends, I began to apologize profusely, hoping she would accept my apology and go change. Instead, it seemed I had unleashed her wrath. She continued to berate me, threatening that if the stains didn't come out, I would have to pay for a new dress. My panic and nervousness escalated. I realized I couldn't afford to replace such an expensive gown. In the midst of my frantic apologies, Jason arrived on the scene, seemingly surprised to see me in my uniform. He reassured the upset girl, promising to obtain another dress for her. Then he turned to me with a questioning look and asked, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere. What are you doing here? Why are you dressed like that?" Jason inquired, visibly confused. I responded, "I'm working. I'm a housekeeper at the hotel." His expression changed as he realized he had been dating a housekeeper, and he remarked, "This is not appropriate. You should work somewhere else." I was infuriated by his condescending comment. Who was he to dictate how I should live my life? I retorted, "Working here is not appropriate, but paying people to accompany you to parties is?" Jason appeared shocked and inquired further, "What do you mean?" Without providing an answer, I cleaned up the mess I had caused and departed. However, the situation took a turn for the worse. The girl who had been with Jason sought revenge. She suspected that I had intentionally spilled the drinks, and she asked the hotel manager to review the security camera footage. When they did, they confirmed that I had indeed done it on purpose, resulting in my termination. Upon returning home, my parents unleashed their anger at me for getting fired, berating me with insults like, "You're useless. You can't do a single job. What a loser." For the first time in my life, their harsh words struck a chord, and I felt as if they were speaking the truth. I had become a troublemaker, causing problems wherever I went. Determined to change, I left my parents' house, relocated to another city, and found an apartment shared with 2 other girls. It may not have been luxurious, but it was what I could afford at the time. This experience also revealed a silver lining. I discovered my passion for fashion. I enrolled in a school with a fashion design program, secured a job as a sales assistant, and steadily climbed the ranks. 6 years later, I achieved the position of manager at a prestigious design company, proving my parents wrong. My success was a testament to my determination and newfound purpose. I only wished I could have the opportunity to express my gratitude to Jason for the unexpected turn of events that had set me on this path. If it wasn't for that dress, I wouldn't have discovered my true passion in life. While I was working in my office one day, a magazine contacted me for an interview, and I agreed to it. During the interview, the reporter asked, "How did you develop a love for fashion, especially since your family has no connection to it? They own a diner, correct?" I smiled and began sharing the story, starting with the gold dress. The interviewer found it both amusing and romantic, so they requested a photograph of the dress, to which I readily agreed. However, 2 days later, I received an unexpected phone call, and a familiar voice greeted me, saying, "I thought you had forgotten about our adventure. I never expected to see you again." I couldn't help but smile.